Hi, Lori here with Hardworking Mom. Today we're going to be going through our Wreath of the Month for October. So included in this kit, and this is a kit that's currently in my shop, there's a pink and a red and white mesh, a red and white ribbon, an adorable sign. There's also a wreath frame and these 3 ribbons. Now, if you're watching this on my website, we are going to be doing method 2, which is the Woodland Ruffle. So the first thing we're going to do is cut the mesh. So I'm going to load both of these onto my roller, my mesh roller, because it's much faster to cut them at the same time. I'm going to be using a rotary cutter to cut them. I'm going to roll them out on top of each other. I like to start with a clean line, so I'll cut both. And I'm going to measure out approximately 34 inches. You can go anywhere from 34 to 36. And we're going to need 9, which will give us 18 total. So we're using 2. Once you've got 9 cut, then you're going to move on to your ribbons. For my ribbons, I'm going to cut them at 12 inches. And I'm going to use my perfect tails. It's just going to save me a lot of time and make sure all my ribbons are the same. Now, I like to kind of conserve my time by doing several at one time. So what I'll do is I'll take a 2.5 and a 1.5 that I'm going to be putting together on my wreath. And I'm going to put them together on my perfect tail, and then I'm going to measure them like they're one piece. So you want 9 of these. Six. Seven, 8. So when you get to 9, just trim it off. Then you can slide the board right out. And the great thing about doing it this way is you're going to be cutting both ribbons, so you only have to do this twice instead of 4 times. So you want to cut in the middle. And then as a whole group, I will do half and half. So I'll fold it over, cut towards the edge to get a dovetail. Okay, same thing on the other side. So now we have half. Do the other half. Okay, so now we're going to do the other 2 ribbons. Okay, so that quickly we're ready to start our wreath. So this method that we're going to be doing is called the Woodland Ruffle. So first I'm going to take my frame and I'm going to move in the ones in the center on the top towards the center, and on the bottom I'm going to open them up. So this is just going to save you time. when you are getting ready to put in your mesh. So when I'm doing this method, I generally like to use a chip clip. I just find it a little bit easier. I'm going to separate the two mesh, and we're going to do one at a time. So with the first mesh, I'm going to lay it flat. So you can see which way it likes to curl. So you're going to lay it so that it wants to curl inward. I'm going to lay something heavy on this other side because it's going to tend to want to curl up, and this is going to help. So you want to make 1, 2, 3 little curls, just twirling it in on itself. Use your chip clip, clip it off, flip it over, and the same exact thing. So 1, 2, 3, and then what we're going to do, so this is our curl, now we're going to make the ruffle. So we're going to hold our curl here and start gathering our mesh by pushing from the back and pulling from the front. So when you're finished, you're going to look like you have a bow tie with a little bit of curl on the edge. You're going to put this face up, so you want your curls to be up. This is face down, this is face up. Right where you gathered it is where you're going to tie it with your ties onto the wreath. So we're going to do the exact same thing with this mesh, and we're going to alternate our colors. There are multiple ways you can do this. You can do one color on the bottom, one on the top, or you can alternate like we're doing. So 3 clip. Okay. Again, you're going to push with your thumbs and pull back with your fingers. And all you're doing is gathering it so that you get a little bow tie. We're going to tie it off. And you want one good full tie. And then we're going to take our mesh and pull it up against each other like this. And this forms our ruffle. So you want them to stay together to cover that frame. So before we go on, I'm going to go ahead and start putting in my ribbons. So I like to work in 2s. I'll do 2 mesh, 2 ribbon. So I just take my 2 ribbon that we cut, fold it in half, make a little crease so I know where to gather it, and then I'm going to run my hands under it to get this nice little curl. And I'm going to tie these together and pull them out front. So after you've completed your wreath, you can come back and spread these out. Okay, so pinch in the middle, gather, get our little curl, place it down. Okay, then we're going to go on and do the exact same thing all the way around. So let's go through it 2 more times. Okay, so heavy object on the end because it is going to want to curl. And then 1, 2, 3 curls, flip it around. And then 1, 2, 3 curls again, and gather it in the center. So you can see I'm pushing it and making a little gather. So you can see how it's gathered in the middle. Put it on your frame. Tie it off. And there we go. So we've ruffled them together. Let's do it one more time and then we'll put ribbons on, and I'll do the rest quickly. So exact same way with the ribbons. Fold in half, gather in the center, get a curl, and tie it down. Now with these ties, you can either leave them or clip them off and tuck them behind. Either way, if you want to do mini bows, I would leave them open. We will get to mini bows. So we're going to do mini bows on these, on the red and white stripe. So I'm going to leave those open. The mini bow is optional. Completed the bottom, so now we're going to go on to the top. So I'm going to open the ties on the top. Remember, this just saves you time. And we're going to do the same process on the top. The only thing that's different is you want to be careful not to squash what's on the bottom. But we're going to do the same 3 curls and the same gather right up the center. So when you put them on top, just make sure you're just kind of making sure that it's not sticking or squashing the bottom. So just like the bottom, I'm going to work in 2s again. I'll put both of them on, and then I will ruffle out the edges together. This is just going to keep it nice and fluffy and keep it from having the center seam, the frame seam. And again, we'll do our ribbons. This time, we're going to do them crisscross. So when we place them on, I'm going to go ahead and trim off up here. And then I'm going to put the larger ribbon going in this direction because as you can see, there's an opening here. And it's going to fit in that opening a little bit better than if we tried to do it to the side. So up on the top, you're going to get to see the entire ribbon. On the bottom, they tend to get squashed, so you don't really want to do anything with them until you're done. Because you'll just have to go back and do it again. Okay? So we're going to go all the way around the top, just like we did on the bottom, and get them all put on. Okay, so we've gotten the basic wreath done. So now we're going to go back and we're going to put some mini bows on the bottom. We'll make a bow and we'll place our sign. So you can see how the sign blends all of this together. How cute is that? Okay, so now we're going to do our little mini bows on the bottom. So let's cut them at 16 inches. Then all we're going to do is fold them over, overlapping, pinch in the middle. You can see we have our little mini bow. And then we're going to tie it where we have this striped ribbon. Okay. Just tie it with your little ties and then fluff it out. You can see. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 16-inch because all we need, you could do even a little bit smaller, but all we need is the little loops part. So we just fold it over, overlapping. Pinch in the middle. Fluff it out. Okay, so now we're going to make a bow. Okay, we're going to start off with a dovetail. And we'll do about an 8-inch tail. Okay. We're going to do a 6-inch loop on one side. Six-inch loop on this side. Six and six. All right. There we go. We'll just dovetail that. Okay, and then we're going to take our red, do one 6-inch loop. Okay, trim it off. And then we're going to move to our gingerbread ribbon. So this is more of my focal piece, so I want to put it on top. So we'll do the same length tails, except this time we're going to shorten the bow loop to to 5 inches. Okay, we're going to flip this one so that it is right side up, matching the other side. You want to do it right where the ribbon meets the bow maker. Okay. So then all our gingerbread are going in the same direction. Okay. So just grab it right at the bottom and twist it. Like that. Okay. Okay. And we're going to finish off with the red and white striped. Same 5-inch. This ribbon is the same on both sides, but the twisting helps to give it more fluff. Okay, and then you're just going to take a pipe cleaner and a zip tie. Run your zip tie under the bottom, making sure you have everything on one side in your zip tie. You want to tighten it enough to get it out of the bow maker, but you want to pull from the bottom and pull it out. You're going to see there's an indentation. You want to lightly hold the bow while you turn the zip tie around. Make sure you keep it in that indentation so that your ribbons will stay the measurement that you set them. Okay. Then we're going to put a pipe cleaner in the back. I'm just going to kind of recheck, make sure my zip tie's in the middle, and then I'm going to pull it tight. Alright. I'm going to hold these 3 pieces in the back while I fluff it. So to fluff it, I'm going to grab a loop and I'm going to twist it and pull it. So twist and pull. What that does is that allows it to get a better fluff. It also allows you to move the ribbons where you want them. So you may want your ribbon up here or down here, and by twisting and pulling it, it's going to break it loose from that center and allow you to get a full fluff and to move it where you want it. There we go. So there's our bow. Okay, we can trim off the zip tie. Okay. So you can put your sign in the middle with the bow on the side. You can put your sign on the side with the bow on the side. You can do top, bottom. Top, bottom. Any of these works. I think we're going to do side to side, kind of towards the middle. So I'll pick a place and I'm going to take my pipe cleaners and I'm going to go right around where the opening is, where we tied our mesh on, and I'm going to use that to go down to the frame. So right here I have my hands, so I want to tie it to the frame. You don't want to tie it so tight that it's going to sink into the wreath. So tie it so it's not going to come off, but not so tight that it's squashing the mesh and sinking in. Alright. Once you get it on there, you're going to want to kind of refluff just a little bit to make sure your ribbons are back where you wanted them to be. because they will move a little while you're tying it down. All right, there we go. Now on your tails, you just want to run your hands under each one, get it to curl. On these 1.5 inch, you can curl them up with your thumbs and just kind of pull it out lightly. Gives you a nice little curl, just like this. Okay, there we go. So that is our bow. Okay, so now we're going to put the sign on. I'm going to put a hole in the top and the bottom. We're going to use some 26 gauge wire, about 20 inches. Now I'm going to run it through the hole. I'm going to double the wire and twist it right at the end to keep the wire in place. This just kind of adds a little strength to the wire since we are using a low gauge. Okay, there we go. All right, now to load the sign on, we're going to be using a weaving needle. These are plastic. You kind of thread them just like you do a regular needle. So put your wires in, bend it over so that you have a nice edge, and you can push it right down through the mesh. You don't need to worry about hurting it because you won't. Okay. I want to make sure I have it in the right place, and then I'm going to tie it right on the wire frame underneath. You just need to do a couple times, and then you can trim off the excess. All right. Okay, so we're going to do the bottom as well. Same exact way. Put it in like you're threading a needle, fold it over, and then just push it right through. Push it right through the mesh. And tie it down. And that's it. Okay, so I like to give it a little shake just to make sure everything's on there. But that's all. And there is our completed wreath. So there's our bow. Okay. There's our sign. You can see how nice and fluffy it is. You can take this opportunity to pull the ribbons at the bottom apart. So I'm only going to do it with the gingerbread because the other one has that mini bow and it doesn't really need that. Okay. All right, and there we go. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Make sure to check back next month for our newest kit. Thank y'all for watching. Bye, y'all.